Hey guys, welcome to our season finale, or series finale actually, for Agatha All Along on Marvel. This is going to cover episodes 6 through 10 and the series as a whole, as a part of this trilogy for WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and eventually Vision's going to get his own. But I think that as far as Disney Plus goes and getting people to watch and subscribe with Marvel shows and things like that, they made a little bit of a drop here because there's really nothing in November, and other than Agatha, there's nothing going on. So I probably would have, as a normal customer, probably canceled my Disney Plus. The only thing coming is Skeleton Crew. So Star Wars in December, but hey, I can save 2 months worth of subscription by canceling there.
It's the only subscription I pay for, so I just keep it. I like watching all the stuff too.
So these last
well, give me your login and password.
So these last two episodes, they made a case for Disney Plus with the trailer. I don't know if you guys saw it with all the upcoming stuff.
No.
You have Daredevil Born Again, but that's next year. That one I am excited for. Then Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, that's the animated show, that's next year. What If Season 3? Yeah, I could watch it. Marvel Zombies, a whole series dedicated to just that idea. Eyes of Wakanda, Ironheart, and Wonder Man.
I thought that was going to be a movie.
Surprisingly,
that's a movie.
Wonder Man?
No, Ironheart.
No, Ironheart's going to be one of the Disney Plus series, and there's already a trailer if you want to look at it. And then there's Wonder Man, which just premiered their little bits of the trailer. And I really, really like that actor. Sorry, guys, the AC went out yet again in my home, so it's probably going to get really hot in here for this room. There's no AC going. All right, so I'm getting notifications with that. But Wonder Man has the Candyman actor in it. I really like that actor, and I didn't give a shit about Wonder Man, but with him in it, I think I'll look at it.
I like him as an actor, but again, I didn't like the Candyman.
No.
Yeah, and what was the actor for the Mandarin, the fake Mandarin?
Oh, Ben Kingsley?
Yeah, Ben Kingsley is in it, and it's kind of like a buddy film with him and Ben Kingsley running around doing weird stuff, acting like actors or something. So it looks fun. But other than that, that's what's coming up on Disney Plus for people within our realm. It's like what could be interesting. But yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap up Agatha All Along. The last 4 episodes, if I were to kind of summarize it, I think, and I ended up watching this with my girlfriend. We over Halloween, they did a 2-episode kind of premiere the day before Halloween on Wednesday. So in that sense, it was a fun watch. She enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Now, is it the best series that Marvel Disney Plus has put out? No. But it has some surprising bits. For me, I was really surprised at how Agatha, by the end, is a villain. She's not a good person. She's a shitty person. And they don't let up on that. Agatha goes around killing people, and they don't Disneyfy that. They don't make excuses for it. She just does it. And this series has some death in it. And I think some of the deaths are handled well, and some of the deaths are just kind of forgotten. And I'm a little upset that, the ladies from that 70s show doesn't really get, Sharon doesn't really get a resolution, a satisfying resolution. But death is death. And so the rumors were true. Rio ends up being death. And so that has an interesting angle. And I think that in some of these episodes, we get a little backstory of the teen and who the teen really is. He's revealed to be, obviously, spoilers as we're talking about the last bits, Wiccan, which is one of Wanda Maximoff's sons, who kind of is almost reincarnated or reborn from that pocket universe being wiped out, but yet lives on. And Wiccan's purpose is to essentially not only be in discovering himself, but find where his brother's at, because there's 2 children, and he cares very much for his brother, and that's what he wants on this road. And, of course, Agatha wanting power, and some of these other witches wanting their own goals. I think a lot of it is very satisfying with some of them, but some of them it's like, you die, and too tough shit. There's just nothing there. So
Death
I
didn't
was
really care
surprised by that not everything is wrapped up in a neat bow. Not everything is Disney-fied. And we end up essentially with Agatha in her current comic book form as kind of this, ghost. And we've seen that in the Midnight Suns video game, too. That's kind of what she's doing there. So it's kind of a progression, and now she's like her comic book version. I thought that was kind of cool that she, while is in that state, can still interact with the universe. And the story, there's a final episode which almost feels like an additional thing. It's like an epilogue or a prologue, epilogue, and which kind of explains a bit more and teases at what we might see in the future, whether they resolve this Wiccan and Agatha kind of team up in the Vision Quest series that's going to happen, or whether it's its own thing or it gets resolved off screen, and then whenever they show up in whatever it is, Young Avengers or the new Avengers film with Doctor Doom, how will that pay off? But other than a few disappointing segments, I thought that it was a well-written series, well-acted, well-directed, not personally something that I seek out and I'm looking for. But someone who is into witches and who is into the Halloween spirit will have a fun time watching it. And if you're really into witches, then you're probably going to enjoy it. So that's what I'm thinking of Agatha all along. Thought it was an all right series. What did you guys think?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. I agree with everything you just said. Like, I did. There's some times that kind of just I wasn't really interested, but overall, it was a good watch. I would think it's above average. I really like the actors. I like the backstory that they kind of gave Agatha, but there's one thing I don't know why she's keeping, she's telling people, it's like, oh yeah, I gave up my son for this. It's like, because I don't want
we
them
need
to know
to figure
the
that out.
truth.
We need to discuss
But the truth wasn't bad. I was like, wait,
to
what?
her,
You
I
just
think it's
want to
bad.
be the villain, but
Right.
it just, I guess it paints you in the worst fucking way than what really happened.
But her motivation is to kill witches, right? And so it's like, it's easy for her to pretend to be the villain and mass murder all of these people if they view her as a baddie.
But she said, oh, because the truth is way worse. It's like, it's not, but okay.
Well, here it is, Joe. I think what it is that she feels shame because she's using her son's made-up song to kill witches, as Alex was kind of referencing. So she feels personal shame at that.
I kind of figured that was but it was more at the very end. She's like, I can't go on because I can't face him. Yeah, him being Mephisto.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Confirmed.
Him being her son in the afterlife.
I know. Yeah, but it was a good watch. I liked it. I liked it was kind of funny seeing this episode, the teenager breaking into the house and kind of seeing her fake gun and her fucking terrible accent.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
I was
we got that perspective.
Yeah, we see that, and then he breaks the spell, but
from a different perspective.
Perspective. It was funny. It's like I could see myself watching the season 2, but not right away. I'll wait for everything to kind of come out. But good watch.
Yeah, the show is interesting, and I think that's so much more important than we get so many standard MCU things, right? Where it's like there's this one character, an offshoot character, and then there's a global terrorist organization, and we have to figure out how to do it, and we're gonna have cameos and there's this formula, right? And I got tired of the formula. I've been tired of the formula. So at the very least, this show breaks the mold and is interesting. It's kind of why I like WandaVision. There was parts of WandaVision I didn't like. There's parts of this that I didn't like, where it's like, hey, this kind of drags on. Yeah. I kind of need you to the point because there's so many interesting things happening. And so I commend them for writing something that is actually interesting. And the end of the season did finish stronger than the end of the first half for me. I really did not like that musical episode. And then there was parts towards the end that, again, I also thought that they kind of dragged on. And it's like, okay, we need to get back to the point. There's some interesting things here. And I wish that we'd spent more time with Audrey Plaza's character.
Yeah, more of that.
There's some things that I wanted to kind of explore a little bit, but I don't regret watching it. And so I think it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and some episodes are a little bit better than others.
Yeah.
The Wiccan backstory, I didn't like that episode. I thought it was below average. The pacing was a little bit off on it. You know, they talk a little bit about the Hebrews, and they have the Jewish party at the beginning. We go into his backstory about how he essentially becomes Wiccan.
Yeah.
Doesn't really move the plot forward, but it is fun with her pretending to be the detective, and that stuff kind of held up the episode.
Yeah, and it did answer my questions, like, why the fuck does he look like that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
Now it
I
makes
get
sense.
it.
So it's clever that
yes.
they kind of told it out of order and then, made it, structured it in an interesting way where you could see that there was an overall vision for the whole series. It's not like they're making it up as they go along. Yeah. And that vision was, pretty good for a villain, adding complexity to the villain, without, softening. It does soften the villain, but completely redeeming or giving her reasons for everything. And in some ways, her mother is like, you're a bad person, you killed people and this and that, and you start to feel sorry for Agatha. Now you're thinking, oh, well, I don't know, her mom's kind of right. And a lot of that shit, she is. Hundreds murdering just hundreds of witches that are vulnerable and just looking for help.
Yeah.
And just sucking their fucking powers out. But, cool. Now, while this I thought, the highest compliment I can give is that everything was resolved without fucking... other Marvel series, you punch the fucking villain in the face. You know what I mean? Or just big explosion at the end, and then it's resolved through fisticuffs and fighting and shit. And this one was a little more complex. There's a little bit of a battle with death at the end, but it's not this big thing. It's more resolution through character development, character arcs, and understandings, and personal character motivations, and they all make sense by the end. And I really liked it that it didn't get resolved with the villain just getting punched in the face and then roll credits.
Yeah,
so.
I thought she was gonna be like pure evil when she's like, oh, okay, I'll bring you Billy. Mm-hmm. I'll make him surrender and everything. It's like, as long as I get more time.
Yeah,
that's what she wanted.
Some betrayal reveals and things like that. And ultimately, I can't really tell. Did she do that until Billy convinced her through appealing to her feelings about her son?
She's walking off.
So she really was going to walk off. She really was going to do it. But he had to use Nathan, I think is her son's name. Nicholas is her son's name, to appeal to her. And she decides, you know what? All right. And she kind of atones a little bit for that and makes a calculated risk, which I don't know. Does Agatha have plans to return? I don't think so. I think part of the director and the showrunners have said we wanted death to be permanent in this. We didn't want, we're going to bring back Sharon. We're going to do this and that. We always say I hate it when that happens, but now when they do it like we like it, I still feel like, damn, man, Sharon.
She's still.
What about Sharon?
She's dead.
And the protection witch, I forget her name.
Alice.
That was satisfying because death even makes the point where it's like, you're a protection witch, right?
Exactly.
You died doing what you wanted or doing what your purpose was, and then she's like, and then she goes off. But then you think about it some more, and you're like, damn, Agatha just fucking killed her. Agatha fucking killed Alice, and Alice is a good person. Agatha's a fucking piece of shit because she fucking sucked all the power out of her, and is a good person. You would think that they're friends, but this is what Agatha does.
Exactly.
She's been, and it turns out,
that was her plan from day one.
I don't know if we talked about it yet. The big reveal is this fucking song, which I think they used the song too fucking much.
That's
they
what
played
I was telling
fucking
you.
song over and over.
I get it for the last episode,
right?
But come on,
playing it over and over.
This is a banger.
They thought it was a banger.
Yeah,
it's a good song, but when you play it that much, I'm out.
You wore it out, man.
You wore it out. But yeah, it's obviously a ruse so that Agatha can kill vulnerable witches and increase her power. I don't know if it's implied that she has to do it to keep her son alive.
That's what I was thinking.
But I guess they leave it up to your interpretation, which I appreciate. It could just be that death is like, I'm going to give you some time. So in the I guess we'll talk about it when we get to the final episode. But I just want to make a point that I think that the character arcs were satisfying, minus a few where it just ends in death. And sometimes that's just how it goes. So it's kind of realistic in that sense. And
I like that.
you just get cut short. You don't get a real character arc because there was
happens.
consequences for people fucking up in the trial, et cetera, et cetera. And the big reveal, it turns out, is that the road and this whole fucking thing is all from Billy. It's all from
Fucking
Wiccan's
Billy.
powers, where he can manifest just like his mother. So I thought that was clever. It's like,
Yes.
oh, cool. That's kind of like WandaVision, where she created all these universes and things, and unknowingly how it mixes with Agatha's fucking con, where she's killing people, and then all of a sudden
It's like,
there's actually a
it's
road.
like, is there any
She's
real
like,
witches
fuck.
here? It's like, what is it? Oh, what the fuck?
And so she's confused at first. She's like, is this legit? And then over time she realizes it's him. So just really fun reveals, really fun turns, reveals, betrayals, consequences. Honestly, I'm talking myself up, and I'm liking it even more. Now, while it does not really marketed towards me, because I prefer fucking Wolverine and the claws and the explosions and the punching of the faces.
Sometimes you just need to slow
But
down.
sometimes you want something different, and I think especially releasing this around Halloween time was a big hit for me and my girlfriend, because we enjoyed it. She's into the films like The Craft and witches and stuff
Hocus
like
Pocus.
that, and Hocus Pocus. She likes Hocus Pocus as much as
Not
you guys.
too.
She does not like to.
Okay.
But anyways, it worked out for us. So let's go ahead and we'll rate each individual episode here in a second when we do a short breakdown. But let's go ahead and give a final verdict to the entire series. We don't need to individual.
Overall, like after we see the whole puzzle and the picture, I did like it. It caught me off guard at first. I was like, I don't really want to watch it. I don't care about Agatha. But I grew to like these characters. I wish we did see more of Death, but it was good, well written. Actually understood the story. It wasn't as dumb as other things we've seen before.
Oh yeah.
So I'm probably gonna give this a 7.
Oh yeah.
Like
The villains in fucking Miss Marvel. Just
Can you just like not do that? And they're like,
stupid shit.
okay,
yeah, it's like
Can
don't
you
be an
just not
asshole.
be that way?
Okay,
Oh,
don't be an asshole. Got it.
no, cool.
Agatha is like, can you not be an asshole? And Agatha is like that fucking scorpion on the back of what is it, the frog, where
Yeah, it
it's
keeps
like,
stinging. It's like,
I'm a scorpion.
That's what I do.
I'm gonna sting you, even if it kills me.
Yeah, a strong 7 though. Good watch. I'm actually looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, I agree with a 7. And for me, I had to talk myself into the 7 because I think if I averaged all of the scores of the episodes, it's not going to hit 7. But I think it's a clever show, and I like the cleverness of it. There are so many times where we watch some of these things out of order, and then when we see them in sequences, you're like, cool, you had a plan. And we've seen things on Disney Plus, mainly in the Star Wars universe, where it doesn't feel like they have a plan. It doesn't feel like they knew when they were going to end episodes. They didn't know where they were going to start episodes, and things just felt like this was a well-executed thing that I recognize is not for me, but I still could enjoy it, and I think that it deserves praise for that because it is interesting. And I can, it's one of those things I know I'm going to know people that are going to love this way more than a 7.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, we know people that are going to be like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of mankind because.
Yeah, a lot of people were
Certain
dramatic
things, yes.
about, wokeness and LGBT content.
I figured
and
as soon as I
they
started
were making fun of
6
Aubrey Plaza saying that it was the gayest show ever. And to me, this doesn't seem like the gayest show ever or something. And you can tell that that's her sense of humor because I'm not familiar with her, but people are like, do you guys not know that's just like how she talks and what she's
sure.
And I was like, I see what you're saying because I'm not familiar with her. There was, a few moments. There's 2 gay relationships, but it's like I don't really care about this stuff. It doesn't really trigger me. It's like I thought that we got a good story with good character arcs, excellent performances, an interesting story. I was really fascinated at how. Now, are there a few flaws? Yeah, there's some cheap sets, like did the underground set for when the 2 witches were underground after they got put in that hole by Wiccan. It looked like really bad.
He made it with his mind, though.
The yellow cardboard and shit. It just looked awful. It was cardboard, but it just didn't look good. Yeah, but now you can. Oh, you see, you can kind of wipe it away.
Yeah.
It's a fabric. It's a piece of his imagination, essentially, a fabrication. But Yeah, so overall, I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more because I was watching it with somebody who was in the target market, and I could see how much they were enjoying it. And so I'm going to end on an 8 out of 10. I think it was good. I could totally see a 7. And I'm actually wavering between a 7 and an 8. And I think that's because I just really like the Agatha character. I like the actress. She's a fantastic actress. And I think the series was effective in the story that it wanted to tell, and it was well done. So, yeah, I know she would rate it an 8. I'd probably go, I'm going to go 8 too.
Okay.
8 out of 10. And let's go ahead and go into a little bit of the individual episodes just so that you can get our breakdown. So, episode 6. Was mainly after the teen is revealed at the very, very end of episode 5 to be Wiccan or have powers of his own. This kind of goes into his backstory. We get, apparently he's Jewish.
Yes.
He has a Jewish family, so he's got a party there going on.
Bar mitzvah.
And then there was like a reading at the party, which I thought was really weird.
But that's
like
it always happens at a bar mitzvah.
Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
you read from the
I
Torah.
think like so the tarot card readings is associated with Jewish.
No,
and
no.
Hebrew?
Reading from the Torah is part of it. The tarot card reading was just something they had to include to connect it
Right,
to
that's what
witchery.
I was saying.
Yeah,
I thought that was odd that there was this little booth here and she's in there and you get to talk to her. But I guess that was forced together from that. And so he has basically a boyfriend and he's got this whole other life, and essentially he inhabits another body.
Billy?
Yeah,
Billy.
he dies. He dies, and it's he's 13. So like he gets his boyfriend. 3 years later. Like how many years later is it? It's a while.
Yeah.
But he dies in a car accident when they're leaving the bar mitzvah, and then Billy's spirit, as they're closing Westfield, inhabits his body and kind of resurrects him. And he's got amnesia. And he just doesn't know what's happening. And so he spends the next couple of years trying to like figure things out. And he's slowly starting to realize that he's not
He reads
William
people's
Kaplan.
minds.
Yeah. Huh. I just realized. Well, okay. So if it's a different person, is he still in love with his boyfriend?
Well,
we
we didn't have his boyfriend at the time.
He didn't have his boyfriend at that time.
We
This
didn't. We
came
don't.
afterwards.
We don't
Yeah.
know if he did. Yeah. So.
Okay, so it's been a while since I've seen episode 6. And then let's see. Then we had that anomaly that it collapsed and he transfers to him, and I'm just wondering, the world gets poked some holes here a bit. It's too easy to do this research yourself, and too many people know about these superheroes that they don't understand why there aren't media circuses around these superheroes. Because doesn't he go to the conspiracy guy
Yeah,
to
Boner.
learn more about that? His name was Boner?
Ralph Boner.
Yes,
Boner.
it's like it said right there. I was like Boner. I was like, wow,
Yeah, because
this guy's
Agatha's
reading
wearing the Boner family reunion
Yes.
shirt that says "Pitch a Tent" under it, and it's just
Yeah,
like
I'm
that's
like,
a very
what is
Boner
So
going
thing.
it's
on?
like so
Disney?
easy to do your research yourself. You would think that the humans in this world would turn more like into like the fucking X-Men humans, where they're like, we've got to, categorize all these superpowered beings. They're fucking shit up, and they know where they live, and it's like nothing ever happens to them. They treat them like normal. It's just kind of weird.
But
I love that
maybe-
actor though. He's
Yeah.
so
Oh,
fucking good.
Yeah, Boner. But he's
Yeah,
probably. I mean, it could
and-
be explained that he's just manifesting some of this stuff because he's probably one of the most powerful beings on Earth, and he's able to find like Billy. Billy's crazy powerful.
Yeah, and then Joe pointed this out earlier. Great scene here where he goes to Agatha's house. It's a different fucking perspective. So you see her acting dirt
With the
stupid.
terrible,
The water gun.
yeah, the
The
water
terrible acting
gun.
water gun.
It is supposed
So what
to be
is
terrible.
this?
So if we had
It's like,
all those people that
these
only
pictures-
watched episode 1, it's like, I can't fucking stand this series. The acting is so bad. It's like it makes you look foolish because
Exactly.
you see
You see
why
these callbacks,
it's
I'm like,
supposed
okay.
to be. It's satire, it's parody, it's fun, it's tongue in cheek, but you have to really give it a chance.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly, because it makes sense. In the beginning, he's like, what are these pictures? Like, these are daisies. What the fuck are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
like, what? Did he do that? It's like, okay. You can see she was going crazy.
So, he's both
Spell.
William Kaplan and Billy Maximoff now. And then Agatha gets out of the swamp. And, she had a feeling that it was, Wanda's son the whole time. And Lily and Jen, he kills them. Or no, he sinks
pushes-
them.
yeah.
I guess... since it's all his manifestation,
He
he's not
knew.
killing them. He knows they're going to be, but when his power awakens, he couldn't help it. He says, like, I didn't do that on purpose. I'm sorry. Yeah, so, okay. And then let's see.
Yeah, episode 5 ends before we know where the other two are, and then they make their way to the
That's
next
when, at the end of this episode, it's like, what does he want? Do you want to find your mom? No. Do you want to find your dad? Tommy. So he can't find Tommy, and he wants to sense him. So that's when we find his motivation, as that he wants to find his brother. And Agatha is acting so villainous here. Her acting, this one I was like, a little bit, because she was going really mean, and then she's like this and that. And she's like, you're too nice. And then he's like, I'm not that nice. And that's kind of how it ends.
Yeah.
I mean, her whole thing is she is mean to anyone with power, hoping they blast her. I mean, that's for hundreds of years. She's been like,
Good defense.
Yeah, it's
sure.
just, yeah.
Because it's like, oh.
Yeah, reflexively blast me. And it's just like,
But this one I felt was a little weaker. I guess maybe because I didn't really like the explanation of the Tommy. I wanted it to be something different. It's his essence jumps into a random
corpse?
empty vessel,
Yes.
a corpse.
Because he's
and,
carrying both.
you
Right
know,
now,
the-
right?
no.
I
That
thought-
guy's dead.
I think he's dead.
That guy died.
Like, William Kaplan is dead, but he also assumes his identity.
I thought he was carrying Tommy's essence too.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
No,
because
well,
like
because how do
later,
we get at
'cause later
so the-
on,
yeah.
Agatha's like in that little weird room with
Yeah,
the lights.
with the
She's
lights.
she's like, you're breathing for him. She's like, you need to let him go somewhere else.
I
That's what
think
I
she
thought.
was just searching him out. He's out in the ether somewhere,
Well,
but I
I
don't
thought
know
he
how
was
to
holding
explain
on,
it.
and he's like finding a vessel for it.
What would
after
you
that.
guys rate this particular one? Episode 6.
This one was average for me. I did maybe want to give it a 6 because I do like Evan Peters. He's pretty funny. And then I was like, I didn't know Disney was gonna. You picked up on that,
Evan
the
Peters,
boner.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like, what? You're meeting this guy in the sketchy parking lot named Boner something.
Yeah, exactly where you would meet Deep Throat, right?
Yeah.
He used to be controlled by Agatha and the Hex.
Yeah, I'll probably just give this one a 5. It was fine. It was a good setup. The
Yeah.
other ones obviously got stronger.
Me, it worked a little less. I go with a 4 out of 10 for this episode. I can see somebody watching this episode and be like, nah, I'm not going to watch the series. But why would you watch that? Why would you watch the 6th?
Yeah, this was a pretty weak episode.
Yeah.
I think I understand that we need to set up who William Kaplan is to a point, and they did some things like trying to tie him to Lily, the divination witch.
Yeah.
And so there are some things. A lot of it just felt kind of disconnected. It's the same problem that I had with episode 1, where I like the fake. Her being a detective thing in episode 1. They just spent too much time there. It's like, okay, I get it. That's cool. Let's move on. Let's get to the important stuff. And this one, they just kind of, they wallow in it. And it's like, some people are going to think they relish in it, and I'm thinking they wallow in it. It's like, it doesn't feel related enough. It doesn't feel exciting enough. And I wish we had gotten more to the point. I would rather see him do more research. Like him sitting at the computer and reading all the fucked up things that are attributed to Agatha Harkness would have been way more interesting than any of the stuff with his not even real family. So
Yeah.
So now we go to episode 7 here, and this is Death's Hand in Mine. We learn that the teen doesn't really care about his mother, Wanda. That's not his driving motivation. Yeah, it's going to be interesting when they meet, but he's more trying to find his brother. We get the cosplay.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz, and it's
And
he
Maleficent.
is Maleficent,
Yeah.
and we get
Wicked-
Glenda,
the
the-
Wicked Witch of the East, right?
We get
No,
the-
the Wicked Witch of
West.
the West, because the Wicked Witch of the East dies in the beginning of Oz, isn't it?
yeah.
That she's the one with the curled ones, and that's why the other witch gets pissed off.
Yeah, so I think we get this.
I wonder if they're going to do that in that upcoming film, Wicked, if the other witch is going to be alive in that one. Because we've never seen
I
what
never
the Wicked Witch of
seen-
the East looks
I've
like.
never seen
or
that
West.
play.
Or
You ever
East
seen
or
Wicked?
West. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got the Snow White, evil witch, Maleficent, Glenda, and the other one. And I think this is one of the strongest episodes.
Yes, this was really, really good. It's let me see. Besides the cheap-looking underground set, which we can hand wave away by it being a manifestation of his psyche, we get the Lilia backstory here. And it's told out of order, so maybe this might annoy some people, but it's, her circular, the visions, and they all kind of line up. So every line that she's been saying throughout the series cleverly lines up in this episode, and you get the context of it, which I thought was cool, putting those pieces in there. Basically teleporting through time, out of sequence, living life out of sequence was an interesting idea. So eventually we get the witches who got put underground join, and they join in costume. And Lilia at first is pissed at Dean because obviously he, confined her in that area. But that's when he says, I didn't do this shit on purpose. There was some odd bits in here, like acting bits, but I think it's because of the disconnected nature. Is like some people are acting different and she's acting different. By the end of the episode, you understand why some of it felt awkward at the time. Yeah. To make some, what did I write here? A queer ant joke? What is that? Queer ant? Queer ant? Something about I'm queer and then rant, tyrant or something like that. Queer rant. Anyways, it was some kind of queer.
Oh, the person who who asked the question? Yeah. Because it's a query. Okay. And then so it's just like, and it's like, no, that's not what they mean by it, but ha, funny.
Yeah. And then they're told, okay, so the potions witch eventually joins her, though she could have left. So when they see the exit underground, the potions witch could have left. Jenny, I think it is. But she decides to join Lilia, and so you have a coven, you have the friendship there, and the heroicness. And unfortunately, Lilia essentially sacrifices herself in order to take out the 7. So, the Salem 9 or the Salem 7, something
Salem
like that.
7?
It's either the 9 or the 7 that she takes out.
Yeah, 7.
No, the Salem 9. I don't fucking know.
It's 7. Salem 7.
Okay, Salem 7.
Alliteration,
and
mean.
I loved this moment. It was cool. So eventually you have this room where they're doing a trial with the tarot cards and they're trying to get it right. The swords keep dropping. And Agatha and Teen are having moments with each other. But it's really, they needed Lilia because she's perfect for this. She knows all this stuff. So once she gets there, she starts explaining. I do like all the drop bits of it's like, it's all subjective. This is bullshit, because that's what they do. It's a little bit of a con, but yet it's also intuition and making people feel good about what they want. So, I like that they don't shy away from calling shit out. But eventually it ends really, really cool. She uses her and she uses the tower, and then she does the tower upright, and the whole thing flips, and then all the fucking Salem 9 get impaled and killed. And then she had foreseen her death where she was going to die by falling.
Yeah, I like those scenes too. Like just calling back. It's like, I keep seeing this, but this is where it ends because this is my time. It's like, okay, it was pretty cool. But I'm just nitpicking here. It's like the 7. Isn't one of them like an owl?
Yes.
Why doesn't it just...
And then just
fly?
Oh,
no, you flip it.
Yeah.
Even if it did survive, this motherfucker is in Wiccan's head.
Yeah, so Wiccan killed all of them.
So Wiccan probably just killed the owl who is still surviving, if we want to give it that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You probably don't get to use your magic while you immediately fall in the anti-magic tower.
I'm with Joe. Because
Yeah,
I was like, wait a
like-
minute, how many animals would the snake really get impaled? They would just go.
Just like move around a bit.
Yeah.
Fox for sure. Fox is dead.
Yeah. But basically the ending saves this episode for me, because that was the highest high. Not saves the episode, because I like the episode overall. Some people might find the jumping around annoying, but I thought it was cool once all the pieces fit. So I really like this one. What would you guys give it?
7.
Okay.
No, I'm way higher than that. I was almost thinking 9 out of 10, because I do think that this is one of the best episodes in there. I really like this again. They planned things, and I'm so like Disney and Marvel have not been planning anything, and it was nice to see someone in charge of a project that's like, oh, okay, Marvel's been a mess since Endgame, right? They everything that they've been making, Marvel proper has not been very good, and so it's like I liked seeing them do that.
It's intelligent writers.
Yeah,
intelligent writing.
I love the idea of like this woman's been living her life out of order, and even though she dies, she's not even really dead, because we go back.
Show that final scene where she's it almost implied that she's aware now as the kid. I don't.
Well, she runs to her first divination, meeting at the very end of the episode. So I think this one was really good. Like this one, and then the Desperate Housewife one, I think are peak for the episode. Damn, I'm gonna go 8. I think it's really good.
Yes, I am also going 8 out of 10. Enjoyed this one. And okay, so that was episode 7. Moving into the final 2 episodes. This was they premiered both at once. I really like this. I like getting more content at once at the end. I think it's an anomaly because it's a 9-episode thing. We'll probably won't see this in the future from Disney Plus, but I liked having a finale that wasn't just 40 minutes, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, episode 8 will start there. It is revealed that Rio is deaf, so you have this big thing. And Rio is talking with the protection witch. That's when we get the resolution. Agatha just straight up killed her, guys. And she died protecting, so she has to live. She has to feel okay with that. Damn.
Yeah.
Hey, death is first.
She has to die being okay with that. I mean, to be fair, Agatha did say, "Look, you blast me, I kill you."
Yeah.
So she had it
Yeah,
coming.
I wanted a death scene too from Sharon. It was like, come on, Sharon, let's go. Maybe she make
I wanted something
remark
from Sharon.
or something.
There was a new poster and Sharon was in it. And I was like, Sharon's gonna be in the last 2 episodes. Nope. Damn, man, y'all wasting that. Well, whatever. Maybe she's just in the background walking with death. Hey, where am I going?
I like that it meant nothing.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Agatha and the situation, she just
Killed
kills
the bitch.
random bitches.
Just killed somebody.
All the lady wanted to do was hang out and drink wine and garden, and fuck you,
And
you're
she died.
dead. Yeah.
You like that?
I think it's important because Agatha is not a redeemable character.
Yeah.
And, that's the other thing that everyone wants to do. It's like, let's redeem this bad guy. It's like,
No,
nah.
she's bad.
She's a murderous bitch. I like that she's a murderous
and
bitch.
there's not this conversation where you can have no, you don't understand. Agatha, the only reason no, that does not work here.
Yeah.
The shitty thing.
Now, can a villain do good things every once in a while? Yes. And that's what this series shows you.
Yeah, the thing that's shitty for me is you killed thousands of witches. Maybe.
Maybe.
You killed Sharon? Oh, fuck you. You're irredeemable right now.
That's how I feel. I don't give a fuck about those other witches.
Hey,
either.
witches, burn them.
And then finally, Rio confronts Agatha, and sort of as she seems to be protecting him from death, and she makes a deal basically to give up Teen to death. But he has to be the one or she realizes that it has to be the Teen that willingly gives himself up, and that's why she's been hanging around and stuff. So, so she meets back up with Jenny and the team, and they realize the road is a circle, the finish line is back where they started. Agatha's like, okay, we're just doing this whole thing over, and they're like,
Absolutely not.
And he's like, fuck this. He puts his shoes back on, boom, and they wake up in a different place. It's a lab, and then here it is revealed that Agatha was the one that bound Jenny, the potions witch. And Jenny's like, what the fuck? And then, but because she has her hair, she's able to unbind that and essentially return her power. And that's it. That's what she wanted on the road. So I guess Wiccan and his powers are like, yeah, okay, so you got what you wanted. Boop. And then she's gone.
Yep.
And she floats off and she's got power. And then they try to find his brother together because, she's enacting her plan. And essentially through this, he does get a body for his brother to inhabit. I think they find some kid drowning.
Some assholes playing around,
they
drowning their
friends.
friend.
Drowned their friend. That sucked. And then at the last minute, he's like, am I killing this boy? Agatha, am I killing this boy? And he gets thrown out, but then she does say no. So that and that's kind of cool. Even though he can't hear it, she's saying it out loud.
No, and what she said was really, really powerful too. She's like, sometimes boys just die, and it's like, well, that's kind of the whole.
It's true, and that's kind of the series. Sometimes people just die, and their story's not complete, and that's what happens. Anyways, she cries an eyelash. No, what is this? I didn't understand this. She cries on an eyelash and then buries
It's
it.
a dandelion.
I think they're trying.
Yeah.
It's a little dandelion.
Oh, it's a dandelion
seed. Yeah, you ever blow the little things
that's what
like
it
that?
was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's essentially trying to create life in an area devoid of life or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or is
It's
that the
'cause
final green witch thing?
Yeah, she needed to create life.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And so the
was a
cracking in the
trial,
ground.
yeah.
So she.
But why did she have a dandelion seed randomly?
Because it's explained the next season because that's what her kid like was playing with and kind of blew it.
Oh,
and
in the
so
next
she has
episode.
Yeah,
a locket. And,
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it.
So
I
she-
must have missed the scene where the kid was blowing that.
Yeah.
So she saved it as a memento from
Yes.
her son. And because her son did that, she was able to complete the trial. Full circle. That's cool. All right. Anyways, she makes it out, but Rio is there on top of the house laughing, and she's full on death. We get Rio versus Agatha here. And she gets a little vengeful. She's like, why don't you want me, huh? Huh? It's like crazy girlfriend shit. And then I'm like, man, she's screwed because you can't really fight death. And then Wiccan shows up triumphantly, and he's in the cool Wiccan pose from the comics. And I was like, oh, man, all right, I get it. That's cool. And, you know, Wiccan's not my favorite character. He's not top 10. He's not top 50. He's maybe not even top
At first,
100.
yeah,
But I
just
was like, that's a badass moment for you. And I could tell that's a badass moment. And it's because we know these characters. And he shows up to help her. He gives some of his powers to her. I was worried that she's going to suck it all and take it all. But she does cut it off. And I'm like, well, does that make Wiccan less powered in the MCU now if we move forward with him? But no, I don't think it works like that. I think it's more like, you know, your energy will return after a while.
Yeah, recharge.
Recharge after a while.
You just need something to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Rio says, all right, well, one of you's got to stay with me. And she realizes this is futile. We can't fight death. She says, it should be me. And then he's like, you know, you're not bad. You're not complete. And she's like, neither are you. Or he's like, neither are you. And she goes, you're the only one that thinks so. And he kind of is. But because she does have some redeeming qualities, but she is bad.
She's bad.
Because she proves it here. He jumps, because he's a hero. He jumps and gives himself up and to take him instead of her. And then she just agrees.
All right,
And
bye-bye.
he's
Oh
like-
yeah, she made the plan in the beginning.
Right.
So,
And he's
yeah.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, what? You said you want to do it, right? And it's like, but nothing. And she goes, what can I say? I'm a covenless witch. And he goes, is this how Nikki died? You know?
Yeah,
And
that's
that
it.
got to her. And
Kiss of
yeah.
death.
Then she feels bad. And she does something good, essentially, where she kisses death. And I guess that is a kiss of death. And she dies.
But she knew this was a risk that she knew that she was probably going to stick around.
With the ghost,
As
her
a
mother did.
ghost. Yes.
She
Another
has
thing,
unfinished business.
another thing is her toes curl.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I liked that little Wizard of Oz reference.
Mm-hmm.
And then Death goes, "You may go." It would have been nice to see more of Rio's after effects of, you know, her love dying and, you know, something like that.
Yeah, more of her
Agatha
throughout,
Rio,
yeah.
but we didn't get that. So I like this one. I thought it was another good one. I give this one, or yeah, why don't y'all go
I
first?
like this one a little bit better than the last. So I'm going to give this one an 8. And
Yeah.
it finishes off when him going back to his old room. Then he realizes he's the one who manifested everything.
Yeah, the
'Cause he's
labyrinth
looking-
moment, yeah.
He's looking at everything. He's like, what
Oh,
the
right.
fuck? I was like, oh, that was a pretty cool scene. And in the beginning, Agatha, I was like, okay, I'm going to bring you this guy. That's what I felt like whenever he's given the powers. Like, well, I can't kill him because I promised him to death. So she stopped and then kind of sacrificed herself. I don't think she was going to until he said something about Nikki.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
a lot of good
And it leaves it
moments
open
here.
for your interpretation.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
good moments here, and I wanted to see more of Death and more kind of like what was going on behind the scenes of what she was doing. But 8 for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this one was real quippy, too. There's a lot of real memorable lines. Agatha's talking about her son. Rio, you know, says something like, you know, looks good on you. She's like, darling, everything looks good on me. It's like I think it was a well-written, well-put-together thing. And then the reveal at the end where it's just like him realizing all of it's like the usual suspects meets labyrinth thing where you're looking around the room. It's like, oh, this is where all of this stuff came from. So I liked it.
Same. 8 out of 10 for me. Another strong episode. Going into the final episode. The final episode's more like an epilogue. It's basically Agatha's backstory with her son, Nathan, or Nicholas.
Nicholas.
And Death comes to collect. She is having a miscarriage, and she's like, no, stillborn. And because they have had a relationship, Death gives her only time. I was like, I can only give you time, a little bit of time. And then I was thinking to myself, I was like, but that's all life is. She's just die. because you're gonna die.
Message.
Boom, message. 0 out of 10 if there's a message in this. But she doesn't give her that much time. She gives her only enough time when he's a little kid. But anyway, so Agatha, with a baby, kills a bunch of
That's what I
fucking
thought. Like she was trading bodies to get more time.
That's why I thought she.
But I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's not really
But you
clear.
can think of it that way.
Yeah, because the one
it's
time she's like, I don't
ambiguous.
want to do this. He's like, well, we should have done
The
this.
one time he convinces his mom not to kill witches is the time death shows
that's
up.
what I was like, is it? I don't know.
Interesting. I like that. I like that open-endedness. That's why I've been referring to that it's your own interpretation. It's not your own interpretation that Agatha was bad. And I think Agatha was going to walk off if Wiccan didn't say anything about her.
Me too. Because I already had a plan.
With a baby, she kills a bunch of witches. She basically uses her kid as a trap. And then we get the singing. This is the episode singing a lot. Too much. I would remove 1 or 2 of the segments, but they're trying to fill in the backstory that's the origin of this. And eventually,
Nicholas all along.
Yeah, a witch. He's eventually taken when he's like he doesn't want to do it anymore. He's singing songs and getting Agatha's and where are you? Where's your parents, little boy? And then when they'd go off in the floor, she'd fucking kill him or whatever. And eventually, when he's like, I don't want to do it tonight, and then she's like, she allows herself to stop and spend time with her son. That's when Death shows up. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. And that's probably why Agatha was saying, like, you did this, you were giving me a gift or whatever. But eventually he's taken, and she is sad. Now, a witch shows up, to travel this witch's road because the song is spreading, and it gets interpreted as a witch's road rather than a windy road. And she bastardizes this essentially to... kill witches. Yeah. She realizes that she could kill witches like this because she betrays this first girl, and then it shows many times throughout time where they're wearing the flapper clothes and then the other clothes from the different eras,
and
then
she's wearing
the craft.
Yes.
And the song is going, of course, over and over. But I thought it was fun and cool. But yeah, so. That she was using it as a lie, and even this new coven that she gets in her basement is she's just doing the same thing, but then it's Wiccan that actually makes it real. And he comes down, he's like, where you go? And then he just goes, and then we go. So really cool. But Agatha is dead, okay? Yes. And she's now a ghost, and he realizes this. Because she's laughing and, she's in ghost form after he realized he created everything using some of the things in his room and made it real.
So then he goes back to Agatha's house and goes to the basement and starts trying to ritual to banish her.
Yes.
And she's like, no, don't do it because I can't face him.
Right.
It's like, you're not a bad person. He will forgive you.
He also realizes that his mind killed a lot of people.
Yeah, he's like, I did that.
He's like, I'm kind of bad too. And I'm kind of like my mom, where if I don't put a check on my power, I could kill people. I'm not necessarily a good hero. So he's got some trauma there too, which is cool. And then essentially, Agatha's like, no, if you do the math, we did save 1 life. And then it shows the lady flying off. And I guess you're right, but he, like you said, he wanted to banish her. He's like, well, why don't you just die? And it's like, because I can't face him. And then she puts that locket on her collar, just like the comic. So it gives an explanation for that locket on her. I thought that was kind of cool. Meanwhile, Wiccan engraves the names of the people that died during the trial that he killed or Agatha helped kill.
3 people dead.
Yeah, 3 people dead. And death actually matters in this series. Makes sense because there's an actual character, Death, who is trying to collect the bodies in the cycle of life. You don't live forever. Eventually, death is coming for you. Sometimes it comes for you unexpectedly and it just cuts your story short. Other times, you get to fulfill.
You die being a hero. That's why in Apocalypse, don't be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Run away.
Okay.
Run away.
And then she basically, when one door closes, another one opens, and this door opens, and the ghost version of Agatha.
We got our team
They
now.
got a little team up here, a broken team up, a fun team up, because they can, banter back and forth. And she says, let's go find Tommy. And then the series ends.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So what would we give this?
Good conclusion, good actors. I wasn't really annoyed by the teenager, surprisingly, because I honestly
He was annoying at first, but
Yes,
then once we
he
got all
grew.
the context to it, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I liked it. And I liked the way they didn't sugarcoat it at the end. It's like, no, it was all a kind of a fake dream, and everyone's
Yeah,
alive.
I kept expecting that everybody's alive.
Yeah, I
and
was
they come
like,
in the
no, dude,
room.
it's like, oh, shit, no.
Kumbaya, we all love each other.
Yeah.
The coven is the power of friendship. And they didn't do it. They didn't do the power of friendship. So Alex didn't give it a 2 out of 10 because the power of friendship.
So this one, I would probably say another 7.
Mm-hmm.
With the fucking song, is like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
he made it
that
up.
brought it
And
down a little.
again, like,
I also wanted more of the Darkhold. You know, I wanted kind of to see more of the Darkhold explanation and what you said. Like, how is it worse? Like, what is she referring to?
Yeah, that's another thing that was kind of like maybe you guys would have answered that. And it's like, well, your kid died because you just asked for more time.
Well, I mean, she couldn't save him. I mean, the whole thing is she's felt guilty
it's
for.
not her fault, but
Well, yeah, but you don't feel like whether something's your fault doesn't mean you don't feel guilty about it. She's had 400 years of straight murdering women to try to. She was doing it to try to gain power to keep her son alive, and it didn't work. And there was nothing that she could do to do it. And so it's like the worst thing possible. It's easier for her to have people think that she traded her son for power than to admit that she didn't have enough power to save her son. So it's like, I mean,
yeah, I get it, but I thought it was like she had to kill people to keep her son alive. That's what her guilt was. That's what I was thinking as well.
I'll go 7 out of 10 as well for this one. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, 7. Pretty good end. It was kind of weird because it felt like, everything had kind of climaxed before. It did feel like, an epilogue.
And so when we're giving this series and to review 7, 7, 8, and as far as the series goes, 7, 7, 8, and I like this more than Miss Marvel. I like this more than
Secret
Hawkeye.
War.
Or was it Hawkeye called? When he was mentoring the Hawkeye chick.
When we fight the cartoon Russian bad guys, and then there's a fencing guy that somehow takes all these gangsters down, and it's a stupid fucking TV show.
Yeah. I liked it more than She-Hulk. I liked it more. I think it's one of the good ones. And from a perspective of, hey, this isn't necessarily marketed towards me. It seems more like a female, more like the witches and coven crap, people that enjoy those kinds of movies marketed towards them. And, nearly all female cast. And I thought it was just well done.
Yeah,
well
I feel like it was a
executed.
more mature show.
Yeah.
'Cause it actually has, kind of scary moments.
Yeah, and we were worried about the Disneyfication. And to be honest, we did want it darker. Remember at the beginning, we wanted some of the horror elements pressed harder and things like that plays to our sensibilities. But overall, Disney Plus walking that line, they ultimately did an all right job on it. All right, well, that's it for us, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. We wanted to complete the review. As we start one, we got to finish one. So obviously, Penguin, when that completes, we'll let you know how things are going on that end. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.